morning and hello everybody. It's my pleasure to be here and to organize this mini symposium. The title of the symposium is Catalysis for a Sustainable Society. And I'm very thankful to the Academy for giving me this opportunity to organize this session. So we have very distinguished speakers, three speakers. So we'll give more introduction, but I would like to give a brief overview of the topic actually, how we can take it ahead and what chemists can do. Actually, the right title would be Personal Perspective of Chemist. So you may not agree with my perspective. For that, you can excuse me if you are not agreeing with me. So let me define what sustainability means. Actually, I'll take the definition which was made by United Nations World Commission of Development and Environment, meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. So that's the definition of sustainability. So we need to make sure that we are not taking all resources and we are not leaving for our next generation. I am from Bengal, so I remember a famous poet who very unfortunately lived only for 20 years in his life. 21 years he died. His name is Shukanto Bhattacharya. And excuse me that I had audacity to translate his poem, which means that I'll make this world habitable for this child. This is my commitment to the newborn. So that's the sustainability has to do actually. And catalysis is something which has a lot of role to play. Sustainability brings three elements in harmony. It starts with environment. Of course, we cannot destroy our environment, and which is connected with our society directly, and of course with the economy. So we need to make sure our processes are economically viable at the end of the day. I'll give an example for a pharmaceutical ingredients. A company in Netherlands was preparing a compound called fluoroglucinol. So closed down their company because fluoroglucinol synthesis, this is a molecule which was used to treat colic as well as spastic pain of the digestive and biliary tract. So 1 kg of fluoroglucinol used to make waste 40 kg waste. So these are the waste molecules that were produced per 1 kg of fluoroglucinol. And for the waste management, company had to pay twice the price than they were earning out of fluoroglucinol. So it was not sustainable. And so that there brings it something called environmental factor actually, which can be described as E factor. As we know that chemistry plays central role in making molecules and materials, which is immensely helpful for our everyday life to relieve pain from disease and all. So this is the E factors today's chemical industry. If you can look at the E factor, fine chemicals has quite high E factors. There are many chemicals what we produce today is not sustainable. 5 to 50 and pharmaceuticals has about 25 and less than 100. So we need to bring or develop a method that the E factor goes as low as possible. Should be 1. So that we don't have to lose any atom, we don't have to lose any, we don't have to create waste for the future generation. So since we are increasing our demand of resources every day, and as a result we are actually depleting, what we are paying is the depleting resources. So we are moving towards an unsustainable world because you are building a lot of waste we are generating in the chemicals. So one has to come out of this through the disruptive idea, innovation. And that has unlimited potential so that we can break this barrier and then we can move towards, we can reverse this process actually. And there again, catalytic processes are very, very important. How to make process sustainable. What are the conditions our planet should really follow is that in a sustainable society, nature is not subject to be systematically increasing the concentration of substance extracted from our earth's crust. So if we keep on taking substances from the earth crust, then we are not going forward towards the sustainable society. Concentration of substances produced by society cannot be increased, and we cannot degrade by physical means, various natural things. So a sustainable catalysis refers to the design and application of catalytic process that are environmentally friendly and economically viable and socially responsible. Socially responsible means, as I told, that we cannot create and accumulate more and more waste. Challenges with traditional catalysis is, of course, we are depleting resources. When we generate API in ton scale, we are obviously taking a lot of catalysts which are coming from the earth crust. And by definition, catalyst is supposed to be regenerated, but there is no ideal catalyst which can be regenerated forever. So eventually you are depleting. So I am going to take you through some grand challenge what catalysis can do actually. How we can deal with. Basically, I will take some example. Of course, chemists can give an initial solution, but technology can come later. But what are the problem? What we can do is that one problem comes in my mind is the how do we tackle global greenhouse gas emission problem. This is the data actually I took from a very nice article which is published by Professor Govardhan Mehta and co-authors recently. So if you look at this, we are actually creating increasingly more and more carbon dioxide, which is a direct correlation with our greenhouse effect. We are already gone up by 1.1 degrees centigrade before the, if you compare the temperature, temperature before the industrialization, and we cannot let it go beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade by 2050. So it's very important that we must take place to set up certain goals actually. One is that net zero. Net zero emission means carbon dioxide, whatever we are emitting, we need to find a process by which we can actually absorb back whatever the process is, so that we don't have effective emission, but it's very difficult. I will tell you why it is difficult. Because this red and black arrow has to be equal, then you need to understand that why it is very difficult. If you look at the carbon cycle, which looks very good, looks like that everything is going on circular pathway, but if you look at the time scale, you understand the problem. If you, let's say, start with oil, you get a fuel chemicals and then burn to carbon dioxide, and then it can be utilized by photosynthesis to get the plant biomass. The geological process can create back again oil. So it's all good, looks like. But what is the problem? Problem is that this process, formation of the oil is about 5 orders of magnitude lower than the rate of its consumption, right? It takes millions of years, this process. So leading to depletion of these geological reserves and emission of CO2. So no wonder today 80% of global energy is extracted from CO2, which creates CO2. For example, oil 32%, 28% coal, 22% natural gas. So you fly from Delhi to Calcutta. You are responsible for 180 kg CO2 emission. And you can understand that the CO2 emission is increasing day by day. Now it's close to 37 gigaton. Now we can debate over again and again and again, which is the way, good way to do the CO2 emission to stop or keep it under control. There are two major thought process is that one is CO2 capture and sequestration and storage, and one is utilization. How do you make it fine chemical back? Now, many groups think that it is versus against each other, but I tell that it is not against each other. It has to be and, right? So both the process we have to explore. So let's imagine why both the process has to be explored. I am a chemist actually, I should support chemistry to be all CO2 to be utilized, but look at the numbers. So imagine that you have a super technology that all CO2 you can convert into methanol, whatever methanol you require today. Look at the number. In 2022, methanol production is over 111 million metric ton. Another chemicals, we always talk about carbon dioxide with formic acid. The global formic acid market has reached only 750 metric ton. Formaldehyde, urea, calcium carbonate. You take all these things and everything you convert out of carbon dioxide with your super technology. Then even you cannot take care of more than 1% carbon dioxide emission. Because we are emitting now 37,000 million tons of carbon dioxide. What we need to do in this situation, that's why I'm telling that it's not either or actually, it has to be on. And then what we have to do is that we have to make sure that we don't stick to only few reaction of carbon dioxide to methanol, formaldehyde and all these things, because that cannot solve the problem. What it can make it better is that you need to create more and more new reaction out of carbon dioxide. So, for example, can you make carbon dioxide to olefin, which is the monomer comes from petrochemical industries? So, for example, vinyl sulfide is the monomer used by polymer science, material science and all. Can you convert them? One of the ways, this is just I'm telling, but I'm not going to show my work actually today. So one of the ways we made olefin, carbon dioxide to new olefin, which is not known actually. Vinyl sulfide can be prepared and various types of olefins you can prepare, and then you can use for polymerization. One of the carbon is harvested from carbon dioxide directly. Another problem is that N2O activation. Okay, we are not caring that actually, because why we should care about N2O activation? Because we are agricultural country. The rate we are emitting N2O, we are not able to utilize that. As a result, if you see the data for India, it's increasing again and again. And remember that N2O is 300 times more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. I am showing a very recent result from a group from Germany, Joseph Cornella. They utilized N2O to prepare pharmaceuticals. Which functionality comes from N2O to get a lot of pharmaceutically active molecules, and then you release nitrogen, which is a very, very inert gas. So that's one of the sustainable process if you can create technology. This is one process I'm talking about. Then another very important area, actually one we should talk about, is the waste recycling. Well, we have awarded Nobel Prize, not we actually, Nobel Prize committee. So Carl Ziegler and Guido Natta awarded Nobel Prize in 1963 for making polymers. Now we are struggling how to break the polymer back, because they are forever chemicals. If you take a banana peel, it goes biodegraded with 2 weeks. Plastic bottle takes 450 years. And plastic bag takes 1,000 years to degrade. We need to find out a solution how you can really go back to fine chemicals. This is again, Catalysis came out with a solution. I am showing a very recent result by John Hartwig group from USA, University of California, Berkeley. They showed that, they showed back that you take the polyolefin, sorry, this is not playing, but anyway, you take polyolefin and then you can use 3 catalysts, iridium, palladium and ruthenium based, you can get back to the starting material, propylene back. So you can do that. The another thing is that periodic table, I would like to show you that there are certain elements which are used for catalysis are orange colored elements: cobalt, rhodium, ruthenium, osmium, palladium, platinum. And they have rising threat if we are going to use too much. We need to use more and more green elements, which is abundant for doing catalysis, but they are not catalytically active. What you need, we need a disruptive idea so that we can bypass this very, very expensive and rare metals. If you look at Nobel Prize in catalysis, actually, so all have used, most of them except one actually. So used always metal-based catalyst. And many of them are very rare. So can metal-free catalyst made with green elements replace rare and toxic metal catalyst? We need to do that. We need to think that. Here, once again, I am bringing a Nobel Prize of 2010. And then you see that carbon-carbon bond forming cross-coupling reaction, everybody think that without metal it cannot happen. With palladium, is a very rare metal. Now, I'll end up with this example that you can see that one can do without metal catalyst, and you can prepare a lot of drug molecules by using simple reaction, by using simple organic molecule to do the Buchwald-Hartwig coupling to avoid palladium metal at all, because palladium metal in pharmaceutical industry, even if it is trace amount, it is toxic for our body, and we do take many medicine for years, 10 years, 15 years, lifelong. How much rare metal actually, how much heavy metal we are consuming, we don't know actually. So this is a method that we can do it without metal. This was not known, this type of molecule. What we need to do is that we are working in small pocket, and we need to connect with each other, and this is a right for platform to discuss more about that, how a chemical engineer or how a process chemistry can discover reactions, but chemist cannot do scale up. So how can we utilize these processes, sustainable processes, to make a better society? So that is the topic today for our discussion, and we have very distinguished speakers, 3 distinguished speakers. The catalysis for a sustainable society. I would like to tell you that, please note that 15 minutes discussion has been integrated with the talk. It's a 5-minute discussion. You can ask question and discuss about after each talk, so we'll not have later discussion. So the first speaker is Professor Matthias Dries from Technical University, Berlin, Germany. So we are very lucky to have him here because he was visiting Goa for other purpose. Professor Dries did his PhD with Heidelberg University and postdoctorate from University of Wisconsin-Madison with a very famous silicon chemist, Bob West, whose chemistry we learned from our textbook. And he built up and he's associated with various cluster of excellence, which unifies concept of various catalysts, which is needed, as I told today. And his area of research is synthesis of novel molecular function-based compounds with heavier main group elements, organometallic chemistry yielding molecular models for heterogeneous catalysis, electron transfer complex, and the synthesis of molecular single source precursor for nanostructures in organic materials. And he is decorated with various recognition and award. He is member of the European Academy of Science since 2020, member of the Berlin-Brandenburg Academy of Science 2014, and is also member of the German National Academy of Sciences. So awarded with Wacker Silicon Award, Alfred Stock Memorial Prize, and today he is going to talk to us about expectation of chemistry all in to meet the needs of society. So Professor Dries, I invite you to be here. Thank you all.